I can totally see you back there on the YouTube.
Wish I got this.
Yeah, that's better. Now, how the frick do I do this? Oh, is it just me in here? I don't know. I can't tell. Maybe I go here? Yeah. I think that's too loud back there.
I don't know.
Let me pause it.
I don't think so. From all the way over there. Nice. You have the power.
I'm a tech legend.
I'm pretty impressed.
All right, I'm turning it on.
Okay.
Oh man, there was somebody in here and they left because I was noodling around. What a bummer. Hi, friends. Welcome to the September monthly reading. I'm just going to shuffle the cards while we wait for some friends to join us. Hey! If I'm doing this over on YouTube also, if YouTube is a better way to watch, I wonder if I can do the link. I don't know. My name is Britt Cannon. I don't know. I know like it's a bummer to watch on your phone sometimes. I'm just gonna wait till 6, so we have 2 more minutes. I'm just gonna shuffle away. Ooh. Thank you. That's really nice. Have you ever gotten a tarot reading before? Oh, okay. So there are these like beautiful cards with pictures on them, and I kind of go through and pull a bunch, and they each mean something, and also like the pictures and the numbers and the like poetry of them mean something. So I pull a bunch, I just kind of shuffle like this until some jump out, and then when one does, I lay it down on this spread in like a specific order, and then I tell you what they mean. I guess for anyone watching the future versions of this, after it's done being live, I'm just waiting for people to join, and then I will talk about the September astrology energy, which is really fun and interesting. We're in Virgo season, and Virgos I always say if you want something done right, get a Virgo to do it. A Virgo or a Capricorn. They're perfectionistic, really grounded, sometimes a little persnickety or nitpicky or like rigid, but organized, dependable, good listeners, just a really calm presence. So we're feeling all that in September. And right around the 6th, we have the new moon in Virgo. So new moons are all about beginnings. Like it sort of feels like the beginning of the month according to the lunar cycle. And in Virgo, it means like a refocusing on work, on organization, on like streamlining the way we do things. Hi, Rebecca. Streamlining the way we do things so that we can work better, work more efficient. And because later in the month we have the full moon in Pisces, and Pisces is the sister sign of Virgo, and that means it's opposite. And Pisces is like the dreamer of the zodiac. They're like deep, psychic, love naps. So you see how they're like sister signs. They kind of deal with in like opposites or duality. And where one really likes to work, one really likes to rest. Where one's very grounded with their feet on the earth, the other is very like up in the clouds, or I guess more like deep in the ocean. And the full moon in Pisces is like an especially psychic full moon. So we might be like really emotional, really tired, really introspective, wanting to spend time alone, or like in water, like taking a bath, or if you live somewhere where you can swim right now, going to the beach, swimming in the ocean. So I think this month we're working on the duality of like work and rest, and how we're so conditioned to just work until you absolutely can't. Thank you. Until you basically burn out. Then, I don't know, that's just not good for us. And I think everybody's been learning over the last like year and a half how to rest without guilt or shame, how to take care of ourselves in really tumultuous, stressful times. And I think that's what we're getting at this month, especially. Just like when to rest, how to rest before you burn out, how to take care of yourself so that you can like pour out to the world more efficiently without like hurting yourself or taking away from your precious energy to show up, whether it's in work or family or relationships. And along with that energy, I think it's really interesting that we have Mercury going retrograde in Libra, and Libras are all towards like the middle end of the month. So no, I don't have a TikTok. They kept kicking me off because my dance videos were too sexy, so I got frustrated and deleted it. So Libra, Mercury retrograde in Libra towards the middle end of the month and then into October is kind of having us take a step back and look at like relationships of the past, like ways we've been wounded in love, communication issues in relationships. It can also be because Libra isn't just like relationships to other people, it's also relationships societally. So we can like be really putting justice under the microscope, putting progress under the microscope, thinking of I don't know, a more fair and or balanced way to do things, which I think is interesting if you consider the duality of the Virgo Pisces situation or like relationship. Libra is the scale, so it's about like weighing extremes and like balancing them, finding the middle road where you can. I think it's also all about like diplomacy, productive communication, or even like kind and loving communication. One of Libra's strong suits is like saying the truth in a way that's like palatable and like soft. We're the queens of sugarcoating, which is sometimes a problem, but is sometimes, oh, a Taurus. Yeah. Taurus and Venus or Taurus and Libra are both ruled by Venus. Taurus is an earth sign like Virgo is, so you got your feet on the ground. So all the cards are out. Before I do a reading, I like sit down and meditate and focus on the energy, and I wait to see if any like signs or symbols come to me while I'm meditating. And today I got the panda, like panda bears. And when I was researching them, I found that they represent power and softness, which is another duality thing, right? You think of them as opposites, but this animal embodies both at the same time, which is a lesson in you can be soft and strong at the same time. You can have boundaries and still be loving. You can be honest and still be kind. It's a reminder of, I don't know, like existing in the duality. Like it reminds me of that quote, you can be in the world, in the world, but not of the world, meaning like never forget that you are more than this physical vessel. You are more than the material realm, and you can be like human and divine at the same time. It's another duality. So power and softness, which also reminds me of that like work and rest, or like grounded on the earth and connected to your intuition, or like connected to the higher realms. Pandas are also very solitary. They pretty much only like interact with other pandas if they're like getting ready to mate. So I think, like I was talking about with the Pisces full moon, like although Virgos are kind of introverts too, like kind of don't mind being on their own, learning to embrace alone time, learning to understand the nature of alone time, that, hi friends, that it really is, the purpose of alone time is to recharge your batteries, to restore your energy, and just like I was saying about rest in general, like preemptive care, like it helps you function better when you take care of yourself first. And it's also a reminder, like, not to overextend yourself, which is a big Libra issue, is just going above and beyond and finding that at the end of the day, after you've run around and like been there for everyone else, that you don't have any energy left for yourself. So it's a reminder, be alone, enjoy being alone, take that nap, meditate. Thank you. And just like embrace that experience. That's how you get your priorities straight. That's how you understand your boundaries. That's how you get, and the next thing I wrote down is personal boundaries. When you have like a lot of other people's opinions kind of flying at you, sometimes it's hard to find how you actually feel, or like, I don't know, what you actually think. And I think we often are taught to like go seek out advice from other people rather than listening to ourselves, when really it's supposed to be like a combination of the two. So spend that time alone, like write in your journal, take care of yourself, and then reevaluate, or just figure out for the first time, if you've never done it before, what your boundaries are. You know, like, what am I looking for in a friendship, in a relationship, in a career, in like a boss, in time and energy output? Like, how much am I willing to give? How much do I even have to give? And then reprioritizing and reassessing based on that. And then remembering to lay those boundaries without guilt or shame, because that's another thing that we kind of get wrong, is that boundaries are mean, or that if we tell someone how we really feel, that we're like being too much, or I don't know, we're annoying or too demanding or whatever. And boundaries are like often one of those things that kind of can trigger other people and rub them the wrong way. And then you get these reactionary responses. So if you are not afraid to be alone, if you engage in your alone time happily and joyfully and gratefully, when you go to lay a boundary with someone else, if you're not so worried about how they respond, obviously you always want people to lovingly respond to your boundaries. But if they don't, you're not so afraid of being alone that you like cling on to them or betray yourself to keep them around. Pandas are also incredibly patient because bamboo is a slow growing plant. And so pandas are a reminder that good things take time, that patience really is a virtue, or at least is a practice that you should do often, as much as you can. I always think about when I feel frustrated, I always like let myself feel it, let it run its course, because just like anger, just like really, the kind of sadness that comes from heartbreak, like sometimes they come in waves. So, or grief, it comes in waves. Like if you just ride the frustration out and get to the other side of it, you can access patience again. So it's not like patience is a personality trait, like you can just achieve patience and always have it, or that if you find yourself impatient, that you're just an impatient person. Like it can be a feeling that you can achieve in moments from time to time, that you can work your way to it if you don't like feel like you naturally have it, because guess what, no one does. So just a reminder to be patient, a reminder that things are working out the way they're supposed to if you go with the flow and you do your healing and you lay your boundaries and you do your alone time and you know when to be strong and you know when to be soft, or you trust that strength is softness. Things will go the way they're supposed to. Pandas represent good luck. Oops, my video paused. This is the trouble of doing them in two places at once. Pandas represent good luck. And they remind you that good luck is a positive outlook, or a positive outlook is good luck. Like they're really, I mean, you can have a bad day, sure. Bad things can happen for sure. But having a positive outlook does feel like good luck, because most things just kind of roll off you like water off a duck's back. They don't stick to you. So if I'm like really in a good energetic place and I'm not in a reactionary place, if something bad happens to me, like if someone's rude to me or I'm late or whatever, like if one bad thing happens in my day, it stays in that moment. I don't carry it with me throughout the rest of the day. And that does feel a little bit like good luck, because you can stay centered without the things that happen to you along your way really hurting your feelings or making you upset or just ruining the whole day. You can have a bad moment and not a whole bad day or a whole bad life. I talked about transcending duality, but there is the reminder again, like things do exist in binaries to a certain extent. Like duality is a thing. We have life, we have death, we have dark, we have light, we have good, we have bad. But there is like a way to sort of transcend that. And like I was saying with the positive outlook, to look at the bad things as like good in the sense that they might be a lesson. Or in therapy, like I've learned, at least in therapy, that a little trick to play on your mind is if you have to do something really annoying, to think of it as an opportunity. Like, oh, I have to have a tough conversation with someone. That's going to suck. I'm going to hate it. They're going to hate it. It's not going to go well. Instead, think of it as like, this is an opportunity to be vulnerable with someone else. This is an opportunity to speak my truth. This is an opportunity to take our relationship to the next level, or whatever. And just look at it like that. And that's like what I was saying about the positive outlook. It can feel like good luck because you're not so attached to the outcome of situations. Pandas are very heart-centered, which I think makes sense with the Virgo, Pisces, and Libra energy coming through this month. We're working on relationships. We're working on wounds of the past. We're working on how to work from a place of fullness and I want to say like gratitude, joy, and just like flow. Like if you're in the flow and you're working, it doesn't feel like you're working hard. And I don't mean just like work, like the daily grind or whatever. Just like creating art, like anything. I don't know, hanging out with friends, if you don't have the bandwidth, can be incredibly draining, even though it's a joyful experience. So being heart centered is like your cup is always full. You're taking care of yourself. You're being vulnerable. You're being honest. Everyone you connect with, you're doing so on like an intimate and honest level. And also realizing that we're all out here mirroring each other and inadvertently triggering each other, like not mistreating each other, not being hateful towards each other, but like just by nature of sharing the space of this reality with other people, sometimes they hurt your feelings or they trigger you or they remind you of something hard you've been through. And again, we can see that as an opportunity to heal. Like I'm being shown my wounds right now through this interaction. And like, what is this showing me? What can I learn from this? What can I heal from this? And that's what that Mercury retrograde in Libra calls you to do. We aren't alone. That's true. It's all one love, right? But just looking back, connecting to the heart center, and then living accordingly. Like once you integrate those wounds and those emotions and those triggers, like it's so powerful just to know that you're being triggered in a moment. Instead of being like, I feel bad because you made me feel this way, you can go, oh, that thing you did just triggered me. Like it's a totally different experience when you frame it that way. Try to get into your heart this month. Listen to some heart chakra music, like it could be love and romantic music, music that makes you feel nostalgic or like mushy. Work on forgiveness, work on embracing the light, work on that idea of oneness, that like we're all connected, that everyone and everything that exists at this moment is like part of one living organism, and that what you do to someone else, you do to yourself. So if you're kind to someone, you're more likely to be kind to yourself. If you're hateful or impatient or judgmental of someone, you're more likely to be that way to yourself. Honor your emotions. That's that Pisces energy. Like Pisces are not afraid of their feelings. They're deeply sensitive and deeply intuitive. So this month is your challenge, or honoring your emotions this month is your challenge. When something comes up, feel it without judging it. When just like take it seriously, don't run away with it, don't let it run away with you, but just acknowledge it. Be like, this is what I'm feeling right now. I woke up today and I'm feeling sad. And just sit with it for a second. Don't make it bad. Don't make it shameful. Just like sit in the energy and really feel it all the way through. And I bet after that process, you'll feel a lot lighter. Lastly, the thing I wrote down for pandas is that they are made of a kind of calm determination, which reminds me again of that Virgo Pisces duality or sister sign opposition, which is that you go after your goals, but not in a fiery way, not in the kind of way that you give it your all and then burn out, like Icarus, too close to the sun. But just one thing at a time, like today, here's my little to-do list. I put 3 things on it. At the end of the day, you've done those 3 things. The next day you can do 3 more, or maybe 4, or maybe 5. And just like taking little chunks and working like that. And that's kind of the flow I was talking about with work. Like if you kind of are just present in the moment and take each task as it comes, before long, you'll have gotten a lot done. And you won't be so tired and you won't be so drained because you will have calmly worked towards your goals and dreams and desires and all that good stuff. Progress. Calmly walk towards progress. I try not to frame things in like specifically capitalistic ways. But we all have goals. It could be like any kind of goal. Maybe your goal is to feel better about your body every day. That doesn't happen overnight. You can't just be like, I'm going to feel better about my body today. Like, and then it just magically happens. It's like I was saying about patience, it's a process. It's a meditation. If you come to it every day, you will get better at it. That's true with anything on the face of the earth. So, in our reading, I pulled a Celtic cross spread. So, I'm going to tell you guys about all the cards in the meetings. I'll show you to them as I talk about them. And then I have one last card from this deck called the Mary Magdalene Oracle deck that, bless you, that has these really great meditations and like poetry in them. And I'll do one of those because I like to do those at the end of the reading. So the first card in the starting point position, we have the Two of Cups. So I'm just going to show my little YouTube screen over here. School tomorrow, what a bummer. The Two of Cups is that heart-centered energy that I was talking about before. It's the duality of like masculine and feminine, if you happen to believe in that. It's the duality of Virgo and Pisces, of grounding, of like your root chakra and your heart chakra. It's the low and the high, which we need both to exist in a balanced and like honestly functional way. Like if you're all emotion all the time, what you need is some grounding. If you're all grounded materialism and like seriousness all the time, you need some lightness. You need some fun. You need some tuning into the heart and the emotions. This can also be like relationships. It can be my sister is a Gemini too. You can be in relationships of giving and receiving, like ones where you never feel like you're giving too much or the other person's giving too much, or any like variation of imbalance. It's just the relationships that really charge your batteries because everything is even. In fact, everything is so equal that you don't even have to think about it and like pick it apart. It's just good and the energy flows naturally. There's a lot of blue in this card, which is like speaking truth, which were those boundaries I was talking about. And just not being afraid to be vulnerable, not being afraid to move from the heart chakra. The card that's overlapping with that is the Nine of Cups. And so I think this is a little bit that gentle strength we were talking about with the panda energy. It's like, it's a 9, so it's like the end of a cycle. So maybe this guy has like worked really, really hard to collect these 9 cups. And so now he's sitting there kind of grumpy with his arms folded across his chest. And he's like, I'm not opening my heart anymore up any more than I already have because I have my 9 cups and I'm not getting rid of them. And I'm too afraid of being hurt to really take a chance. So I'm just going to sit here in my chair with my hat and my little dress and pout. But it's also like you do have 9 cups, so you have done the work. You have opened up at least a little bit. And you're so proud of the emotional work you've done because you've put these 9 cups like on the mantle behind you. And the mantle is like a place of honor. Like they really do look like trophies. So these could be wounds you've worked through, like things you've healed, realizations you've had. These could be like great relationships, speaking of the 2 of Cups, that you've nurtured and fostered and like grown like little seeds. It could also be like the poetry of these cards, like taking one of these cups and giving it to someone else. So like going from closed to open, or even open to closed, depends on how it resonates with you. There's also blue in this one, right? There's yellow, which is the heart or the solar plexus chakra. So it's like taking action in speaking truth, because there's that blue again. The next one is the me position, and it looks like this is the 10 of Swords. It's one of the most scary cards in the deck, obviously, because there's this dude. He's like been stabbed by 10 swords. It's definitely overkill. It's like something that hurts so bad that it feels like not just being stabbed in the back once, but 10 times. Or because swords represent mental energy and like thinking anxiety. It could mean like seeing a problem as much worse than it actually is. So it can be like melodramatic, like no one has ever suffered the way I am suffering right now. And in those instances, I always tell people, like, just think of it as valid. Like, just be like, this is how, honor your emotions. This is how I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling like no one has ever suffered as hard as me in this moment. And just like fully feel it, have your cry, watch a sad movie, complain your heart out, and let it run its course. Because if you like get fed up with yourself and you're like, I'm not feeling this anymore, the only thing you're doing is sitting with your arms crossed and like refusing to feel something all the way through. And whether you feel it now or in 20 minutes, there are 10 swords in his back. Or I don't know, however long you have to sit in it. Like, if you sit in it and fully feel it, it will run its course. If you don't, you're just delaying the inevitable for a different day. So we might have a little anxiety this month. We might feel, as you're we were talking about like the work of Virgo and the commitment to perfection and the commitment to doing things right, and how there's like a pressure involved in that, and that it's really important for Virgos to like take care of themselves, to learn how to rest, to not burn the candle at both ends. But if you're like moving away from that towards a more Pisces, flowy, intuitive way of being, there's some anxiety there, right? Like, anytime you give up an old way of doing things for a new way of doing things, it's really scary. You feel like you're leaving a lot behind. You feel like you're skydiving with no parachute. But it's part of the process. Like, every time you make a change, there's going to be fear. Every time you find a new way of being or like evolve in any direction, there's going to be some grief of letting go of the old. So don't take it too seriously, but again, honor those emotions. If that's what you're feeling, that's what you're feeling. Don't try to rush through it. Also, don't wallow. Again, we're talking about balance, letting yourself feel it, in those waves, in those bursts. But when it's time to, dry your tears and go about your day, feel the intuitive guidance about when that is. You know what I mean? Like, no one can rush you through your own healing. But you will feel in your body sometimes, like it's when the tears stop, it's when the tears stop coming and you get hungry or you suddenly want to like hang out with a friend, or you want to watch a funny show, like, you feel it. The next card is the recent past, and it's it's the Six of Swords. And there's like two people in a boat, very similar, like visual experiences on these cards, except instead of being in a person, in this one, they're in a boat. And my favorite line about this card is a quiet passage through a difficult time. So it's about, like I was talking about just then with the emotions, it's about like calmly and peacefully riding the wave of those emotions. It can be like escape. It can be like serene travel. This always reminds me of like dreaming. Obviously, there's still some anxiety with the swords. There's still some mental energies, some worry, some like mental pain, which always speaks to me of like something clouding your thought patterns. Like, we tend to think on a loop. I think that's because we're computers. This is all like binary nonsense, a hologram reality. But we tend to think on a loop, like we're programmed. And when we keep revisiting harmful or painful thoughts, that can feel like anxiety. If someone has like said something mean to us enough, we tend to internalize it, and then it turns into our inner monologue in our brain. And it's really important to like take those out and examine them, and not just kind of dogmatically or like thoughtlessly or without criticism, like take them at face value, because just because someone told you you're not smart doesn't mean you're not smart. Or just because someone told you or made you feel unlovable doesn't mean you're not lovable. So it's really important to like think about those thoughts, and decide whether or not we want to keep them around, if they came from someone else. Like, we get to decide how we feel about ourselves. So I think like swords always represent that kind of energy, like just the energy of those repeating thought cycles, and how at any time you can change them and move them in a more positive direction. Just like with the patience though, and just like with feeling your feelings, it's a practice. It's not like a way of being. It's like you don't achieve it and then it's there. You have to like always kind of redirect yourself back towards the loving. You don't just like achieve it once and then you stay there. Unfortunately, it's always a process. But mainly this is like anything you're worried about right now, anything you're stressed out about. If you just stay centered and stay self-loving, you will navigate through it pretty calmly and like without, what's the word? Like without great upset. Like it'll just be very calm and smooth, although maybe a little sad, maybe a little serious, and maybe a little slow. But that leads to the Ace of Cups, which is like very much open-hearted, like that panda energy, like very heart-centered, operating from a place of love, being so full that you're spilling over. This is like deep healing, big vulnerability. This is like an awakened Pisces, you know, like extremely intuitive, extremely psychic, extremely generous energetically, like someone who really can sit with someone where they are, no matter what they're going through, no matter how heavy the situation might be, and always bring a healing energy. This is like achieving, you know, whatever it is we're working on healing, whatever it is we're moving through, it's like bringing us to a brighter place. So there's some really deep healing going on, and you know, good work. So if you feel yourself taking a tough situation a little too seriously, just remember that it might be opening you up. It might be helping you heal from whatever this is. The next one is the Hanged Man, which is a guy upside down doing tree pose with like a sun around his head. This reminds me of the calm determination with the patience. This is about feeling a little bit stuck, not moving forward fast enough, feeling suspended in place. This can also be a reminder that yogis believe that if you're physically upside down once in a while, it helps your brain function better because the blood rushes to your head. So if you can do a handstand, I don't know, maybe give that a try. I can't do one. But it's about trying to get your feet on the ground, trying to be a little bit more grounded. It can be a call to spend time in nature, especially during those full and new moons. But it's mainly about like enlightenment, sudden insight, because you're suspended in place. So, okay, go to sleep. Don't stay up too late. Don't stay up past your bedtime. Have a good day at school tomorrow. Instagram is weird. So if you find yourself stuck and in suspended animation and you're upset that you're not moving forward, realize that there might be a higher reason for it, that you might be learning something, that you might be being shown something, that maybe you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle together that you need to move forward. Like there's always a reason, and it might serve better to look for the reason instead of just being in frustration and being like, oh, why am I not moving forward? Or like, oh, curse you, universe. Like, I want to be doing more. I want to be going faster. Sometimes it serves better to take a step back and be like, okay, what is my impatience in this moment showing me? What am I learning from my frustration? How can I get myself to calmness or patience or gratitude? The next card is the me position, and it's the Temperance card. And this is about, again, balance, transmutation, the intuition of water, the flow of water, the healing energy of water. How if you take a bath or spend time even near like running water, like a river or lake, or if you have one of those like little electric fountains, even just the sound of it can be really meditative and lead you to have some profound intuitions or insights or healing. This is Archangel Gabriel, who brings messages of healing, of like creative inspiration, like art, music, just like any kind of intuition, any kind of creativity. It can also be the call of death and rebirth, like a call to change something, a call to evolve. This angel is like doing alchemy, like pouring upward. And this reminds me of the Ace of Cups, which is, again, about like never pouring from an empty cup, because you're always full, because you know how to take care of yourself and you know how to restore your own energy, which is really like a superpower. Just like that positive outlook can feel like good luck. Like it can change your perspective so much that suddenly life seems a lot more positive and you seem to have a lot more energy, just because you're not like so bogged down by the maybe negative bullshit of life. If you can turn a negative into a positive, that's like magic. The next one is the environment, and we have the Knight of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. So this is our, where's that other nine? Oh, the Nine of Cups came out earlier. So nines are all about endings. Endings are not always bad. It can be an end to one of those negative outlooks or like negative thought patterns. It can be an end to a situation that wasn't good for you. It can be the end to a bad habit, or it can just be the end of one cycle of your life and you're stepping into another, like in the context of a creative venture, or like, I don't know, a new routine. It's however it resonates for you, but there's like some kind of end, and then with every end there's a beginning. Like nothing ever ends without something else starting. That's what that cliche, God never closes a door without opening a window, means. It means that like if you feel like something is ending, that just means that something else is starting. So the Knight of Cups is like, I think this is the Pisces energy. This is delivering a heartfelt message, communicating emotions honestly and vulnerably. It can be about boundaries too, because boundaries are self-love. It can also be like a sweet text message, or someone expressing gratitude and appreciation for you. Anything that has to do with like the heart, and emotions, and communicating them. Sometimes these cups, like the Knight of Cups, how he's like handing over, or the Page of Cups, they kind of remind me to tell people when I think something nice about them. Like it can feel weird and awkward and hard to spit it out, but all of us are walking around feeling like, I don't know, like we're screaming into the void, like no one cares, like no one's listening, like we can't do anything nice for each other. And sometimes all it takes is a like, hey, I like your work, or like, I don't know, if you see someone who has a great outfit, like telling them they have a great outfit or whatever. Like there's a million ways to do it. Even just like genuinely telling someone who makes your coffee thank you is like, can go a long way as far as that person's positive experience for the day. So it's just a reminder to be kind and to be generous with affirming words and like interactions, and just to like be as loving as possible as you move throughout the world. And it's one of those things that is perpetuating. Like if you are loving as you move through the world, you're going to experience a more loving world. Whereas if you're closed off and rigid and judgmental and unkind, or just like in your own head so that you're not considerate of others, you tend to experience that coming back to you. And then with that, like, it's almost like the Pisces energy is, thank you. It's almost like the Pisces energy is bringing you to this earth energy. So even though we have the Virgo new moon first, it's like the Pisces energy, I don't know, is bringing in the Virgo energy. So like maybe we start this month feeling a little grounded, feeling very much alone with nature, tending to the little seeds we planted, making sure they come to fruition, being really balanced, being really like, I don't know, like meditative and centered. And one with nature means like, like if you're in a really high vibrational place, you can have animals, like you can like attract animals. And or you'll just like, I don't know, it's like, is it mystical or is it just a fact that if you're paying attention you see lots of birds? It could be no more mystical than just like paying attention in nature and you see something beautiful and it speaks to you. Or it could be that when you're being really present, you're in a very high vibrational space and then animals are attracted to you because they have high vibrations as well. But it's a good reminder that like to be present, to get out in nature if you can and spend some like solitary calm time there, like take out your headphones, appreciate the beauty, very Libra. But it's just, I think this is talking about that duality and transcending it. So like the feelings of Pisces, the calmness in the calm determination, the softness in the power and softness, and how like we really can be all and we really can figure out the middle road and the balance between them. And in that is power. If you know how to lead and you know how to follow, you'll be a better leader. Whereas if you only know how to lead, you're going to be a tyrant. Or if you only know how to follow, you might not step up when the time comes. And like, again, it's not a destination. Like you don't understand how to, like you can't figure, like I'm crushing it. I know I got the duality thing. I understand how it works. I am balanced. And then you never have to think about it again. The second someone annoys you when you leave your house, you're going to get thrown right out of balance and you're going to have to like get yourself back there. So it's a reminder of the process. It's a reminder of the patience, and it's a reminder of that vibe is accessible to you at all times. The next position is the hopes and fears. And we have the Five of Swords. There's a lot of anxious energy this month. So just like be prepared for that. Anytime, like Pisces has an anxiety to it because like if we're feeling so emotional all the time, it can be overwhelming. And Virgo has an anxiety to it. I feel like Virgo is one of the most nervous signs. Dare I say lovingly like neurotic. And so there's definitely an anxiety. And then Libra is like all mental energy, and that can feel overwhelming and anxiety inducing as well. So that even more so, the grounding is necessary. The introspection is necessary. The like analyzing these thoughts that feel like swords in our back, these like thinking processes that might do more harm than good, or even just embracing those overwhelming emotions without judgment, just like letting them wash over you. We have the Five of Swords. So this can be somebody who's not very nice around you. This can be a wound from the past of someone who mistreated you. This can be self-sabotage. It's a 5, and five always remind me that every change is good. All change is good. It just is a matter of looking at it from the right perspective. But this is about, like, we think that this guy on the front is the main character of the card, but really the card is about the two people in the background. They feel defeated, they feel in failure, they feel sad. It's almost like you get the sense that they were fighting this guy in battle and that they both lost and then they part, like they go their separate ways. So almost like too much shame to even like remember what happened by like continuing to associate with each other. This guy seems like he's in power, right? He seems like he won the fight and therefore he's the victor. But I think if you can see his like, he has this like smirk little, or like smart ass little smirk on his face. And he doesn't realize that, like, why the fuck do you need 3 swords? You know, you're one dude. Like, biting off more than you can chew. It always reminds me of, like, the kinds of friends that burn through friends because they don't know how to be a friend back. And because they won't heal their stuff and figure out how to treat people kindly, they keep ending up alone. And so they think they're getting their way initially by treating people however they want. But then when they end up alone, they want to be a victim and they want to be like, why does this keep happening to me? But it's like, that is self-sabotage. Like, if you tend to the garden of your friends, if you take care of your relationships, if you love people openly, you don't need to manipulate them to stay around. They want to keep coming back. And if you don't do that, they might walk away. And like, I don't know, it's no more complicated than that, but it can be that kind of energy. And because we're in that Libra Mercury retrograde, so like Libra deals a lot with relationships and communication, we can just be reminded of something in the past that felt like this. And it can be coming back up through a trigger in the present. It can be coming back up through like dreams or memories. And it isn't really your job to like take it seriously in the sense that you let it run away with you and that you become consumed by it, or that you think you need to like restart something like this. But it's just a reminder to heal. It's just a prompt to work through something. Along those same lines, we have the 8 of Swords, which is this lady kind of loosely tied up, and she's in like a cage of swords. But the reality is, she could kind of shrug those ropes off, take off the blindfold, and just walk away. You know, she's not actually stuck, she just feels stuck. And so this is that same kind of anxiety energy we were talking about with all the other swords cards, but this really is a kind of self-imposed anxiety energy. So it's like she just feels stuck. She can't see the way forward. And this happens a lot, you know? You can be like, you know, I know what I don't want, but I don't know what I want. And that makes me feel stuck and confused. Or I want to move forward in my life. You know, I want a different job. I want to live somewhere else. I want to change my life in any number of ways, but I don't know how. And my answer to that is always, or even like, I want to heal from this thing, but I don't know how. I want to feel better, but I don't know how. And my advice when you're feeling that kind of like stuck is break it down to many, 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 many small tasks. Like ask yourself, how can I feel better in this moment? Do I need a nap? Do I need to eat something? Do I need to be with a friend? Do I need to distract myself? It's just taking things one little step at a time. Taking your or taking care of yourself, or like moving your perspective towards feeling better, can feel really tricky because we're taught to ignore how we feel and overextend ourselves and be everything for everybody. And also, that how often do we hear like, you're not supposed to feel good, like life isn't supposed to feel good, life isn't fair. So it's really about training yourself towards allowing yourself to feel good, and then like putting those little things in place to get you there. It doesn't have to be a complete big huge change all at once, although sometimes it is. But it's just like bringing awareness to those thought patterns, bringing awareness to the ways you've been wounded, bringing awareness to what brings you joy, or even like what you want. Full moon rituals are a great place to do this. You like write a list of everything you'd like to bring into your life. You write a list of everything you'd like to release. You sit and you meditate on it. You like talk to the universe about it. And then at the end, if it's safe to do so, you burn it. And once you burn it, you take the ashes and you bury them in your garden or in the earth somewhere. And then afterwards, you just feel this sense of like deep relief that you put them, you made them conscious to yourself, relief that watching those like things you'd like to release burn really does release something. And I don't know, relief because you let yourself be present with yourself and put your feelings on paper or in the world in some physical way without judgment or shame, and like with purpose and awareness. All of that brings us to the final card, which is the Lovers. And it's really sweet that we started with the Two of Cups and we ended with the Lovers, because the Lovers are like the grown-up versions of the Two of Cups. Like if this is like the start of a friendship, that will eventually lead to like some kind of really mature love, or like a first date, or like the first signs of commitment, like it's just kind of like new energy. Then this is very much like mature energy. It's like solid, stable. Both of these are give and take, but everything has a beginning. And as you sink into trusting this, to healing through this, to engaging with the mirror of a love relationship or a friendship, um, fully, just like letting yourself be part of it without letting the fear take over, without clinging on too tightly or running away and shutting down, then it does have a chance to like mature into something really, uh, I don't know, long term. Like it has a good foundation. This is like all that balance, all that transcending duality we've been talking about, the power and the softness, the strength and determination, the solitariness so that you can be better as you move through the world. Um, it's all here. So it's like we work through all this stuff at the end of, well, I wouldn't really even say the end of September, although I'll do another reading for October at the end of September. But really, all the way through this Mercury retrograde until the middle end of October. Is that right? Yeah, into November maybe. I didn't look up the exact dates, but that's like you'll start feeling it in like a week or two, and then you'll feel it a week or two after Mercury goes direct. We're going to feel a lot more confident in love. We're going to feel a lot more confident in communication. We're going to feel a lot more confident in our own healing and like the process of becoming ourselves, a lot more in patience, and just a lot more operating from the heart space. So if you're like flowing with this energy, that's where you'll end up. The Mary Magdalene card I pulled is the acceptance card. It's like a really pretty card. It's this lady in water, which reminds me of that Pisces energy. Let's see what the book says. I think acceptance is probably pretty self-explanatory. Acceptance is the key word for you at the moment. You have the power to heal and bring balance to an area of your life that is causing you concern by accepting things as they are. Don't try to change what is beyond your power to change. Focus instead on that over which you do have power. You have power over the way you react to the events in your life. Adopting an accepting attitude will help you regain your sense of inner peace. There's no point worrying about something if worrying about it will make no difference. That's kind of a tough pill to swallow, but there's no point in worrying about something where worrying won't help it. Believe that the forces of life are with you and not against you. Make the most of what you have instead of wishing you had more. However, acceptance does not mean that you need to give up on your dreams, hopes, or aspirations. Just know that there is a higher purpose to things and trust that it will all work out for your highest good and for the highest good of all concerned. So that's the same thing we've been talking about. A positive outlook literally feels like good luck. So if you can catch yourself when you're going down a negative thought spiral or when you're really triggered and in your trauma, you can bring yourself back to center, and you can even redirect those emotions to like a positive place. So like if you catch yourself thinking, I'm unlovable, I'm going to be alone forever, stop and say, that's not true. We're just feeling triggered right now. We're just like in our abandonment wounds. We're just, I don't know, like hurting, afraid, like wounded, whatever, who isn't? And just like let yourself feel it. But then once it's time to reassure yourself and to take that thought out and put a nicer one in, you can do that. That's within your power. I hope that you move through this month a little bit more centered. I hope that this reading helps you and like guides you through some of the heavy energy that's going to be taking place. And I hope you enjoyed this reading. I'll be doing it again. I think it's September 26th, I think is the last Sunday of next month. So tune in next time and tell a friend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi, cutie. Hi.